Talk about low-budget flights. No food or movies? I'm out of here. I like running better. Welcome back, YouTube viewers, to another video. So before we get into today's topic, I'd like to thank you all for all the support I've been getting as always. Remind you of my 100 subscriber goal by June 11th. That's very soon, a week from uploading of this. And, well, at first I thought I can make it no problem. But now, I don't know if I can, so let's just hope I can make it. So for today's video, we're once again going to be diving into the world of How to Train Your Dragon. As I've said before, this is my favorite film series. I mean, yesterday I guess I don't really want to spoil it in case you haven't seen my DreamWorks ranking I did yesterday, but all I'll say is that those movies are pretty high up there. I really love them all. The first one's really good. Second and third ones are pure masterpieces. But I think the character that really holds these movies together for me is Hiccup. Hiccup has got to be my all-time favorite film protagonist. That's not a joke. I mean, maybe I'd say George Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life because that is Jimmy Stewart poured his heart into that performance. But Hiccup is definitely my favorite when it comes to movies of the 21st century. I'll say that. He is the perfect protagonist. For one thing, we get to see a man go from a boy to, well, a man. We get to see him mature. But of course starts with the first movie where the topic of his arc is finding yourself. Hiccup doesn't really know what to do with his life. He's not a huge tough guy like his father and all the other Vikings. He's kind of a pathetic, I don't want to say loser, but he's a weakling, a wimp really. It's all true. He doesn't live up to the lofty goals his father and expectations his father had for him. Nobody else really takes him seriously. He doesn't really have any friends. He's got a crush that's way out of his league. But then, of course, when Hiccup finally shoots down a dragon, which of course nobody sees, it turns out to be a Night Fury, the most powerful dragon of all. Yet also nobody's ever seen a Night Fury, at least on Burke anyway, so I don't know that's how we'd know it's a Night Fury. But anyway, he finds Night Fury and he just can't bring himself to kill him. And he just sets him free and eventually befriends him, names him Toothless. And by the end of the movie, he's able to find his calling. He's able to find himself. His role? Help being the first man to befriend a dragon. And helping other Vikings befriend dragons. So that one day, man and dragons can live together in harmony. It's really nice stuff. He found his calling not by being the warrior that had persisted for centuries on Burke, but instead by just doing things his way. Because Hiccup is not some super tough warrior like his father. He is just a guy that just wants peace. He's not a pacifist, but he's not some super huge kind of no holds barred, no holding nothing back warrior. And it really pays off by the end. Chapter 2, Growing Up, which is what the second movie deals with. I think one of the first things it tells you while he's grown up is that just look at his clothes, just look at him in general. He as well as the other characters like Astrid over here. All of the characters here look much different, at least the teenagers characters anyway, and well, I haven't seen all of Riders of Burke, Defenders of Burke, and Race to the Edge. I'm watching Race to the Edge as of recording this, and I've seen some of Riders of Burke. It's especially interesting to watch those shows, which are canon, because since those came out, those take place between the first and second movies. You get to really see the characters grow up, which is definitely something I really appreciate. You get to see how Hiccup went from what he was in the first movie to what he is in the second movie. It's really interesting. You get to see him become sort of more of a leader for his friends. And he has to deal with the fact that his father wants him to become chief. Hiccup is 20 years old now. And when you take into the TV shows into account, he's gone through over 100 episodes of development and plot and adventure and character development and all that stuff. And even if you didn't watch those shows, he still seems like, yeah, this guy is mature. He's ready. Except Hiccup just isn't ready to grow up yet. He just can't face what it means to be chief and what it means to be the full leader of his people. But eventually, he has no choice but to grow up. Because once he's faced with the harsher reality of life, in the first movie, he learned that no matter what, some people can change, even if they seem like they never can, which in this case was his father, Stoic, and all the other Vikings. They united with dragons, they made peace with them. Except here he learns that some people don't change, no matter what you want, no matter how hard you try. Hiccup wanted to make peace with Drago Bloodfist, to get him to see something else. But no, Drago is just a psychotic killing machine that wanted to rule the world, and that's it. No matter what Hiccup said, nothing was going to change his mind. And once Drago was able to take control of so many dragons, including Toothless, and Toothless ended up shooting Stoic and killing him, Hiccup just had to stare as his father's ship leaves at his funeral. So he talks about how he was always afraid of becoming his father, but he just wondered, how do you become someone so great, so selfless? Which really makes me question, why was he afraid of becoming his father? I don't really understand that line, but er, this scene still hits really hard. Yeah, now he knows that with his father gone, he has to become chief, whether he likes it or not. Because part of growing up is you don't choose when you grow up. Life chooses for you, for better or for worse. But then we get to the final movie where he has to learn to let go. Now that Hiccup's been the chief for a year because he's 21 now, he's told, you and Astrid, you're 21, you've been together for a while, you have to go get married now, or you should anyway. And this is already really stressful, but then you combine it with the fact that Toothless might leave because he's fallen in love with a Light Fury, and Grimmel has come around with all these dragon hunters and trappers and all that stuff. And Hiccup is just wondering that, hey, he grew up now, but part of growing up means learning to let go. And well, he doesn't want to do it because, as he says at the end, when he finally realizes what he has to do, he tells Toothless, this whole time I was so concerned with what I wanted, I never considered what you needed. It's a really powerful moment, especially when he does have to let go of Hiccup. As he says, you'll be safe there, safer than you'll ever be with me. Because when he is saved by the Light Fury at the end, after when he almost falls to his death alongside Grimmel, he says, just save him, as in for save Toothless. Because Hiccup learns, if you really love somebody, sometimes you have to let go, even if it's really hard. And eventually, after the whole day adventure is over, he gets married to Astrid, which is one of my favorite scenes. He's reached his arc. He's let go so he can unite with another. And then 10 years later, flash forward, he and Astrid, now with their kids, get to reunite with Hiccup, with Toothless, the Light Fury even, and their little baby dragons, the Nightlights. And that's how this story comes to a close. A boy that found himself, grew into a man forced to grow up and become chief of his people, and ended by learning to let go so that he could unite with someone else and really grow as a person, become the man he was always meant to be. Gosh, I never realized until recording this, I never realized just how deep this goes until I actually said it. Because I've had this on my mind for a while, but just wow. Props to Dean DeBlanc and Chris Sanders, mostly Dean DeBlanc, I suppose, for writing and directing these movies, for getting something so powerful, and especially Jay Baruchel's vocal performance. It's really great stuff. And I'm so glad he as well as America Ferrera, who played Astrid, were able to come back for all the TV shows. It's really good to hear their voices play all that extra development most people wouldn't actually see. In conclusion, Hiccup is one of the best protagonists I've ever seen. He's the perfect protagonist. He gets to go through a natural arc, a development that it really connected with me and lots of other people. These movies were a huge part of so many people's lives, and I really like them too. Especially, there's just something about Hiccup, I suppose, that connects with me and a lot of other people more than some other characters. I mean, I love Po from Kung Fu Panda, and well, I think his story definitely can resonate with a lot of people. It resonated with me. There's nothing about that I find relatable. And while I don't find Hiccup relatable either, I suppose his story just I've been able to connect with on a certain level. I'm not really sure how to describe it. I mean, it helps he's human. I mean, a character doesn't have to be human to be relatable. Just look at Transformers or something. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for this video. So comment down below. How well do you think Hiccup served as a protagonist for this series and for, well, storytelling in general, since I think he's such a great protagonist? That's all for now, and as always, keep on juicing!